my name's Christine Lavelle and I'm here to talk to you today about plants that flower on previous season's growth. Now these are different to plants that flower on current season's growth like roses, and I've just made a video today as well for that, so please check the channel if you'd like to learn about pruning roses. But they flower on current season's growth roses, so we can prune all the growth really hard back and they will still flower that year. Whereas plants such as this, like this one here, Viburnum cross bodnantense, this one's probably dawn. They flower on wood that it makes last year or even the year before that. So at this time of year, if we pruned plants like forsythias, Philadelphias, deutzias, weigelas, if you prune them really hard back, you would lose all the flower for the following year. So plants like this need to be pruned differently. You need to selectively thin out the growths. Only up to 1/3 of the growth should be taken out. If it's any more than that, say you come to a plant where it's really all overgrown and actually all the growths need to be taken out, only remove 1/3 of them. Allow the new growths to come up the next season. Then the following year, then you can prune them out after that, and so on. So this particular one here is Viburnum cross bodnantense dawn. It's flowering, it's just starting to go over at the moment, as you can see here. And I'm looking to see what growths I can remove. So if you could please zoom in to growths like this. So this growth here that I've got in my hand, this is nice young growth. This is this type of growth you should be encouraging. And then growths like this, these are the growths that you should be looking to remove and then make way for the younger growths. You don't have to take up to 1/3 out, it's only up to 1/3. It might only be about 1 or 2 branches you do on a yearly basis. When do you prune them? You prune them after the flower. So this one's ideal because this is just pruning now. In all the books it would say prune your Philadelphus after it flowers or your forsythia. So a Philadelphus would flower in about June time, so you would prune it in July. Your forsythia flowers in March time, so you would prune it in April. But actually, if you waited to April, and especially for the Philadelphus and the weigela, if you waited till July, it's just so leafed up that you can't see what growths to remove. And actually, there's hardly any water retention in the soil at that time, so the regrowth is going to be quite poor. So an old head gardener of mine told me at this time of year, which is January or February, why don't you just go into the garden when you're looking for things to do? And when you've got these older growths, just remove them then, because they're not going to produce that much flower. If you remove them now, there's light getting down to the base where you've pruned it in March because it hasn't all leafed up. Your regrowth is fantastic because of the light levels, because of the moisture levels in the soil, and then everything's just bursting away, the sap's rising at that time of year, so your regrowth on that pruning cut will be fantastic, whereas if you wait to July it won't be. And so actually all the plants that flower on previous season's growth, I usually go along and remove the growth around about January, February in the dormant season when I'm looking for a job to do. Okay, so I think that something like this one here definitely needs to be removed. So what you've got to do for these bigger plants is you've got to follow them back. It's a bit like a little puzzle that you get, apart from it's in real life. So you've got to follow it back into the bush. And then give it a shake about, because sometimes you think you're pruning the one out that you want. You're the one that I want, and actually it's not the one that you want, it's another one. So I'm going to give that a little shuggle, as we call it. Yeah, and I'm going to follow it down, and it's right the way down. Now this is why I love using my Grecian saw, because a loppers couldn't get in there. You wouldn't be able to open the handles out wide enough. So I'm going to get in with my Grecian saw, going to work out the best angle to do that. I've lost what one it is now, it's that one. I'm going to try and get in there. You might have to try and get some of these other branches out the way, and then it's going to be very tricky to get that out. Can't get it from that angle. Might be I have to take it a bit higher. I don't like taking them higher. it leaves a bit of a stump. But that is better. And the other thing is you've got to be really careful about not cutting the other branches around it. If you feel that the branch is actually coming down onto your saw, with the other hand, if you can just slightly pull it away so it opens up the cut, so you can then do your final cut. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm quite exhausted now. Okay, so I'm just getting my hand in. I'm pulling it back. Okay then everyone, I think it's just come away now, if you can see that. And I'm going to take it out. You might actually have to take it out in sections to get it woven out between the branches now. So you would just go through your whole shrub, taking out up to 1/3 of these older ones after flowering, and do them as low down as you can so you don't leave any stumps down the bottom. So I'm going to try and see if I can remove that now. Just work my way up. And I think I'm going to have to chop it off here. Really tough. Pruning just takes ages, doesn't it? That was really exhausting. So this is why they call the garden the green gym, because it is a cold day. You'd never be out here just like sitting in the garden, but to work in the garden is fantastic at this time of year, especially in jobs like this. So this is a growth that we've removed. It's an older growth, and then I'd work through the growth. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take a few of the older growths out. I'll just talk you through which ones. I'm going to leave them in position, and so we don't use up too much video, and then we're going to come back and remove them and just show you the finished product. Okay, so we've just finished taking one big branch out, and I'm going to look to see what other branches need taking out now. And if I have a look behind me, I'm going to look for the older ones. There's a really big old one, a really tall one that's gone up. I think that one needs to come out. And then there's another one off to the side, which is causing quite a bit of damage in terms of crossing just over here. So it's quite difficult to get in. So I'm just going to get in and then pat them. Okay, this is the one that's causing the trouble, this one here. So this one's going to come out. And so we'll take that one out. I'm just going to, like the last one, I'm just going to follow it down to the bottom and remove it from the base. I've been using this Grecian saw, and it's quite bulky. And then you can get one of these little pocket Felco saws that you can pick up for about £30. So I'm having a bit of trouble with the bigger one, so I'm now going to start using the smaller one and see how I get on. So this is the growth that I want to take out, this one here. The Felco is great because you can get into all these little nooks and crannies. And because it's new, it just cuts like butter, like a knife through butter. It doesn't cut like butter. Oh, this is great. Let's look at that. Woohoo! Here we go. Yeah! Oh, it's amazing. Woohoo! There we are. Right. I'm going to take this out in sections. I'm going to cut it again. So I'm taking this bit out, which will make it easier for the next bit. Where's the next bit? Here it is. I think you might be able to get that out. So this is our second branch that we're going to remove. I should probably have put the saw down before I started to try and get it out. But that's the second lot. So I'm just going to put it down here. You can start to see the amount of growth that we're taking off. I have to say, everyone, that saw is amazing. It's so much better than my old Grecian saw. So just to say that tools are so important. It's so important to have, you know, good blades on them, sharp blades, clean blades, blades that will cut really clean as well, and make sure that they're well oiled, because you can cut down the amount of time that you spend on them, and it's so much easier on your joints as well. So really, really important that you have good tools. Hi, and we've nearly finished now. So this is our pile that we've taken out of this Viburnum cross bodnantense dawn. It's a huge amount. You can see it just started, it was just nearly over in terms of flower, so it was at the right time to do it. We could see into the bush to see exactly what we needed to take out. So these are really old, narrow bits. It's not perfect what's left, I've just got to do a little bit of work to finish it off. But come round and I'll show you what it looks like now. It's so much more open. There's so much more room for the newer growths to then fill out and then start flowering, because these older ones, although they had flower in them this year, the older they get, the less that they will flower. So you need to take these out and allow the younger ones to come through to be the new generation of flowers for the forthcoming years. So this is, just to do a summary on this one, this is a plant that flowers on previous season's growth. You never prune this one right down to the ground. You never try to restrict the growth either. You just selectively thin these growths out. Now in the books, it says that you have to do this after it flowers. And that's fine for this particular one here. But for things like commonly grown plants such as Philadelphus, your mock orange, your Weigelas, and your Deutzias, for example, and even your flowering currants, Ribes sanguineum, that you need to, I would recommend that you do these at this time of year as well. Just take out some of the older growths and then leave the younger ones in. And the older growths that you take out before it flowers, they're not going to have that much flower on them anyway, but it's better for the regrowth, as I said earlier. So this is Christine Lavelle on a very cold January afternoon, but I'm not so cold because I've done lots of pruning. Signing out, and I'll see you later on another video. Bye for now.